So, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you actually are. Welcome to our Lifeliqe Back to School webinar. My name is Stanislav Luska, and I'm community coordinator of the Lifeliqe company. So it means that I'm taking care about our clients and featured teachers. So again, be welcome to our webinar. And in the beginning, I just have to inform you that the webinar is being recorded. So staying here, we are basically agreeing with the recording. So if somebody is not okay with it, he can leave. And I think for the beginning, that's all. So we can begin. So I will show you again my screen so that you can see the deck. Yeah, and we are here. So welcome again. As I said, this is my name, Stanislav, but I won't be the only speaker today on the webinar because we have our special guests from the ranks of our featured teachers. And it's Olivier Dijkmans from Omnimundo School in Antwerp in Belgium. So he will be here with us to share you his experience with using Lifeliqe in his classes and in all the past period of coronavirus. So we will be really curious about that. Now, what's the agenda? First, I would like to give you the introduction to Lifeliqe for those of you who don't know well the app, so that you will have the opportunity to get to know it. Then, in the second thing, I would like to present you some new updates which we have in our new September update of our application. And then I will pass the microphone to Oli, which will show how Lifeliqe works on his Omnimundo school in Belgium. And in the end of the webinar, I will resume really fast some new data about the use of 3D in the classroom, because there are some new investigations regarding the use of 3D. So I will have a short presentation of the new investigation about the data about 3D in the classroom. And then just we'll have some summary. And the most important thing comes in the end, and those are your questions and answers. So stay tuned. I think we will have less or more 1 hour for presenting all the important stuff we need. What is Lifeliqe? Lifeliqe is an online app which is full of different 3D models, microscopic zooms, and all the different stuff for teaching basically science, math, and all the important subjects on K-12 schools. So on all the levels of schools from primary, secondary to high school. And our app is fully aligned with educational standards, for example, as NGSS in the United States. And it's also supported by augmented reality, and even if you have the correct devices with virtual reality. What is mission of Lifeliqe? Well, basically, we were inspired to do the stuff we do because we wanted to improve the students' engagement in the classes, because sometimes it happens that many students are kind of not really interested in the things they learn, or they don't pay so much attention, or they are simply not so excited about learning. So we try to invent something which would inspire their curiosity and help them to understand better the difficult concepts in the difficult subjects, like, for example, in physics, biology, and so on. And in this way, we try to create their passion for learning. So they would like to discover on their own the world of science and learning. And also for teachers, provide them a really useful and powerful tool which they can use not just in their present classes, but even in distance learning, like we were able to prove it in the last half year until now. So that they can use our app even together with the educational tools which they normally use, for example, Microsoft or Google tools. And our intention is to make it work together, so they don't have to just completely pass to Lifeliqe, but continue using in their own like plans for teaching and so on, just all together mixing it with our modules. So now I would like to pass to the presentation of Lifeliqe, but I think until we go back to the presentation, I would like to show you the app on the internet. So I will now switch fastly to my browser, where I can show you what Lifeliqe actually is and where you can find it. So this part will be especially for those of you who don't know the app yet. So this is how Lifeliqe looks like. First, where you can find it. It's really simple. You have to just type in your browser this address, online.lifeliqe.com, and when the principal page appears, you just log in the case you have already your account, and if not, you just create it in the same page, and then enter again with your credentials. They can be Google or Microsoft credentials, so you don't have to create another special account just for Lifeliqe. And this is what appears after entering the Lifeliqe page. This is how the app looks like. It's divided in three principal parts. The most important of them is called Interactive 3D, just here in the center. And here in this part, you can find all the stuff we have for teaching. So we have here different 3D models and microscopic deep zooms, and they are divided into libraries, which are grouped by subject. So here we have some human biology, animal biology, plant biology, dinosaurs, and then for physics we have like physics and IT in this library. We have also chemistry, geology, astronomy, geometry for math classes, and also we are experimenting with some culture stuff. So you can already find here some modules from culture, architecture, and social studies, and so on. So this is the principal content regarding the subjects. And now I can show you which types of content we have in Lifeliqe. The basic one and the most important one are 3D modules. This is a typical example of a 3D model. It's static 3D model, so it means it doesn't move on its own. I think many of you recognize it well because it's coronavirus. And as a typical 3D model, you can move it, you can spin it, you can zoom in and out, so manipulate it in different ways. However, we have also animated 3D models. I will show one of them, for example, in another library. This time it will be animal biology library. And for example, this one, which is a model of mosquito, which shows how infectious diseases are being transmitted between people. So now we can see a typical example of animated model, which moves on its own. And again, you can manipulate it, zoom in and out, and so on. 3D models create the biggest part of Lifeliqe. However, we have also another type of content, which are so-called microscopic zooms, which I have already mentioned. And for those who don't know what it is, I can show you a typical example again. This is, for example, a microscopic zoom of a leaf of male fern. And it means that I can zoom through a really through a long sequence of really high quality photographs, like photos, to the very, very, very microscopic details of tissues, like in this case, or even, for example, in case of physics, in the inner structure of different materials. So like that, you can show to your students the most details of the microscopic structure, which you normally would have to do in the microscopes, in laboratories. Some of them are costly or not available, so it makes it really easier. For example, now I switch to physics library, where I can show another example of zoom. This time it will be zoom into a material. For example, this is a pillow made of nanofiber or with a nanofiber anti-dust bedding. So I can zoom inside of the pillow, and I can see all the details, even this really not beautiful mite. Yeah. So I just showed the bed sheets, and it was like another typical example of microscopic zooms. And now I switch to geometry, where I'm showing some of the videos we have in Lifeliqe. But I've just mentioned that we are like not really focused on videos, so we have a couple of them which are showing the useful and important things for the teachers which they need in classes, like for example those construction examples from geometry, or we have also some experiments from chemistry. But there is just a couple of videos, because nowadays in the internet we have a lot of videos on YouTube and on other sites where you can discover a lot of educational content, so we don't really focus on videos. And as a last thing, I can show the last type of content we have, and those are like so-called slice forms. They are basically paper cuts for construction of different geometrical shapes. So teachers can just print it to their students, and thanks to our sharing options, and let them construct their own geometrical shapes. So those were the basic types of content we have. And now I would like to browse really fast the other two parts of the app. The second one is called Curriculum and Professional Development. Here, the teachers can find different lesson plans or teacher materials. Currently, we have, I think, at about 1,000 of different lesson plans with our beautiful 3D modules. So here you can see, for example, a typical lesson plan where we used 3D modules, and it can be either for direct use in the classes, or it can serve as inspiration for other teachers to show them how they can use our modules in their own resources. And the last third part is called My Library, and it's personalized content which you can have in our app. So every teacher can here find his or her last used lesson plans and 3D modules, or their favorite ones, because you can mark the modules you need as favorite, and all of them they save here. So this was the presentation of the structure of the app, and now just fast about the principal configuration. Here on the top of Lifeliqe, you can find the basic menu. On the left, you have hamburger menu with all the libraries. Then we have here a Lifeliqe button, which is like home button in a web browser. So always when I click on it, I get back to the main page. We have search bar, and on the right, you can switch between the different language options. Lifeliqe right now is available in different world languages. The principal one is English, but the app is fully available also in German, in Spanish, in French, in Russian, in Chinese, and in a couple of other languages. And we are currently adding more and more, so you can wait for more of them. And here on the very right, you have the user menu, where you, in the section My Account, you can insert your license key for those of you who already have it and maybe not activated yet. So in this field, you can insert it, and all the content of the app will unlock. So this was the presentation of the app, and now I can show you which functions have each of the modules. So I go, for example, to the physics library, and I can select this beautiful model of telescope. Well, this is a typical static 3D model. So again, I can spin it, I can move it, I can zoom in and out. And regarding the functions, so first here on the left, I have the description of the model. And when I make click on it, always some part of the model will highlight or move or interact in some way. So it makes different details visible for the students. Yeah. For example, right now I've made a click on telescope diagram, so it shows me a cut through the telescope. I can also hide the names on the left. It's great, for example, for examination or to do some repass of the last class in the beginning of a new class and so on. So this is the option of description. And here on the button panel, I have more functions. The first one is introduction. So it's some theory about the telescope or about each of the models. Then I have again here language options. It's basically the same function as the main language option of the app. However, here it's kind of improved because here we have so-called bilingual option, and it means that all the description can be displayed in 2 different languages. So, for example, I have now as main language set English, and I want to show it together with, for example, I don't know, for example, together with Spanish. So I switch the bilingual option on, and I have all the description in 2 languages, which is really practical, especially for the students which want to do their preparation for university studies and so on. Okay, so this was bilingual option. I will switch it off now and continue with another functions. The following one is related. It shows the related models which are suiting well for to this one. For example, in this case, I have a telescope, so here I can quickly switch to models of lenses or to microscope, to camera, and so on. And now we are getting to the, in my opinion, the most important feature for the teachers, and it's a share button. What can we find in share button? Here on the right panel, now we can see the share panel. Yeah, and it's divided in 2 sections. The first one is called screenshot. About this, I will speak in a while. And the other one is called link. Basically, the link option enables us to share the model to our students via internet. So first, I can get this model to my students with this button, which enables me to copy the link to clipboard. So I may click on it. The link has been copied, and now I can insert the link which was copied just by Ctrl-V or paste option wherever I want. For example, if you, in your distance learning classes or presence classes, if you work with any program, for example, I don't know, WhatsApp, Skype, email, whatever you wish, you can just insert the link there, and your students just may click on that, and it opens in their own device. For the sharing for students, we've also developed a special function, which is like the lowest button, generate student access. And the difference is that, for example, if you use the copy the link feature, which I've just shown, it requires you to have also student accounts. But even if you don't worry, because you can use this share student access to option, which enables to share our models to students even if they don't have their own accounts. And we have basically 3 principal ways how to do it. The first one is, again, copy the link. The second one is to give them an access code, which they introduce on this page. And after introducing it, the model opens again in their own devices. And the last one, and it's being more and more popular, is via QR codes. So they can just scan this QR code by their own cell phones, and the model will pop out in their own cell phones, and they can, again, interact with it. They can play with the model and discover it in their own device. And a part of this student access sharing option, We have, of course, integration to the principal educational tools from Microsoft and Google, and it's Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom. I've just made click on the Microsoft Teams options, so that dialog window opened, and here in the dialog window, it asks me just where I want to share my model to. So I just select the team in my Microsoft Teams where I want to share it. For example, this is telescope model, so I share it to, for example, my physics class, and then just by one simple click, I get it to my Microsoft Teams groups. The same is with Google Classroom. Just one click, and it gets directly to the Google Classroom class. So this was the sharing, the link to the model, and then we also can make screenshots of all the models, and I will show fastly how does it work. I can, for example, spin the model in the way I like, for example, like this, and I make a screenshot with this tool. It appears here, and then I have two options what to do with the screenshot. I can download it, or I can save it to my Google Drive. In my case, for example, I want to insert a screenshot to my presentation about optics. So I download the image. It downloads where usually my browser files download. So in my case, it's my desktop. So I can just go to the desktop, and I see it here. So I just cut it, open my presentation, for example, this one, insert it, and that's it. Yeah, and after pasting the model, you can just add your commentaries and other files. You can write some interesting theory and so on. So you have many options what to do with the models. Well, when I'm right now in Microsoft PowerPoint, I can also show you another really useful tool which enables you to make even your own educational videos with Lifeliqe models. And it will be again with cooperation with one of the PowerPoint tools, which is screen recording. How does it work? First, I prepare this model which I want to record, like I want to do a video with this model. So I prepare it like that in my screen, and then I go to my PowerPoint presentation, to the slide when I want to insert that, and then click on the insert panel on the option screen recording, and PowerPoint switches me automatically to the last opened window. So that's why it was so important to have the model prepared. And then here on the upper panel, I just select the record option. I have selected this area to be recorded. So right now I'm doing my own educational video with 3D models. So again, I can spin the model, I can highlight its parts, and also do my commentary, because PowerPoint is recording also the sound. So in this way, I can do my lovely educational video with 3D models. When the video is ready, it appears automatically in the slide where I indicate it. So if I play it right now, you can see that it's really beautiful and it looks really lovely. So this was video making with PowerPoint. However, even in our app, you can make your own videos thanks to the augmented reality feature. And right now I can show you how does it work. Basically, I think I don't have to explain how does augmented reality work, but basically it brings the 3D models to our real world. So right now you can see me right now in my office giving the webinar, and thanks to the augmented reality option, I've transmitted this beautiful 3D model to my own reality, like here, to my office where I'm seated. And right now, thanks to this tool, I can make either photos or even recordings, which will again record sound and my voice and the image. So like that, you or even your students can prepare videos with 3D models which then can be uploaded to YouTube, which then can be shared via Teams or any other different way. So the video is ready. I can download it, and that was it. So this was the presentation of the really fast presentation of the basic tools which you have available in Lifeliqe. And I think right now I can continue with my presentation and I give a really fast resume of what we have seen. So what is Lifeliqe? Lifeliqe is a big library of thousands of 3D modules and lesson plans about basically science or STEM subjects like math and so on. One of the biggest advantages in comparison with other programs or other educational tools is that it's scientifically verified and professionally guaranteed. So every single module we have was verified and confirmed by some scientist or university member. So you can be pretty sure that it works very well and it is in the way it should be. We have also available augmented and virtual reality in our app. You have seen augmented reality, virtual reality. It's kind of difficult to show in webinars, but if you have at your disposal virtual reality devices, you can play Lifeliqe app even in them, and the augmented reality option will convert in virtual reality. So you will be able to walk around the modules and see them in VR. Then we are integrated with the basic educational tools like Microsoft Teams, with G Suite like Google Classroom, and so on. And we can be also educated to different learning management systems depending on your demand. So the Lifeliqe program or the Lifeliqe app is really versatile. Also, as I have shown, all the modules are really easy to share with students, or even for teachers. It's really easy to create their own presentations with 3D modules, or even improve their existing ones. So you don't have to make nothing new. You just insert our modules in the materials you already have. And of course, it's available on all kinds of classroom devices because Lifeliqe doesn't need any installation. It works online. So you just go in your browser to the page I've shown you. There you can find the app, and it doesn't matter if you have Android devices or Apple devices or Windows. It works everywhere without problems. So this is just a slide which shows the principal universities we work with on our content, because as I've told you, all the content is scientifically verified. So we work, for example, with Stanford University, University of California, or with Charles University in Prague. So just to name the most famous ones, so you can be sure that you are showing to your students verified content. So that was all about the presentation of Lifeliqe app. And now I will go fast to the news which we have prepared for you. And I will go to the new actualized version of Lifeliqe, which looks like that. It will be available from the end of September. So for those of you who already have tried Lifeliqe and have their accounts, you can be looking forward to see it very soon. And I will present really fast what can you find here from September. First, I think you can see the kind of strong difference in design. So Lifeliqe has undertaken a kind of big change of its design. So now it's more like elegant and white. The colors of modules are more visible for the users. And you can also see that it's kind of simplified. So even on the level of user experience, it has received some improvements. Basically, you have here not 3 cards like before, but just the card with all the content, this card of 3D modules. where you can find all the modules and microscopic zooms as usual. And the other part is called My Library. And here you can find, again, your personalized content. In between it, we have also a special section, which is called Classroom Resources. And when you click on it, there will pop out a window with a web page where you will find a lot of resources for teachers and also for students. In between them, some resources for remote learning, tutorials about how to use the app, for example, materials made by other teachers which use Lifeliqe, some classroom activities, lessons. Currently, we've uploaded, for example, coronavirus lesson plans, and so on, and also recordings of our webinars, including this one. So this was what's new. And a part of like the regular news, for example, more modules, because with every actualization of the app, we add more and more. We have also a new special integration with Microsoft Office products. And I will show you really fast how does it work. Well, this is a typical example of 3D model. This time is petroleum reservoir. It's from geology library because we haven't seen any model from geology yet. Well, and how did the sharing options improved? Yeah, for example, right now I can make my screenshot, and thanks to the new integration with Office products, it will pop out, or it should pop out in different programs of Microsoft Office package. In between them, in Microsoft OneNote, like right now, or also in Microsoft PowerPoint, or in Microsoft Word. So right now, or like since September, Lifeliqe will be fully integrated with the basic programs of Microsoft Office educational package. So I've made the screenshot like this, and you can see that thanks to the new add-in which we have in Office, which can be downloaded and installed, you will receive the proper instruction, of course, to do that, but it's simple. It's in 2 steps. You can see all the screenshots which I have made here in OneNote, and just by a single click and Control Paste, I will be able to see all the Lifeliqe modules in my OneNote sheets, or in PowerPoint presentations, or in Microsoft Word documents. So right now, I've pasted a module of petroleum reservoir to my OneNote sheet. And when I click on it, or your students, you will just get back to the Lifeliqe app, just to the same 3D model as you pasted to your materials. So that fast it will work with the new Lifeliqe Office package add-in. So those were the news, and I am getting fast to the presentation. Just to resume what are the news, so you can expect the new and improved integration with Office 365 package. So it means direct connection with OneNote, PowerPoint, and Word. We have also prepared a special web page with classroom resources. One thing which I haven't mentioned yet, because since September we are also improving the quality of our 3D modules online, so it will be even more detailed and better. So it will be suitable well to show it on big screens and so on. And we have the new design I've mentioned. And another special thing for those of you who have the virtual reality classes or devices, we are selling from September also a special VR-only license. So if you want to have Lifeliqe on your VR devices, we have a special license for you, so don't hesitate to contact us. So this was the fast review of the news which we have in our app. And right now, I will pass the mic to our special guest, who is Olivier Dijkmans from from Omnimundo School in Antwerp. So I hope he can hear us. Do you hear us, Oli? Perfect.
I can. So thank you, Stanislav. And welcome everyone. My name is Olivier Dijkmans. I'm from the Omnimundo School in Antwerp. I'm teaching in P5, and I first want to tell you a little bit more about the location we are and how we are so grateful that Lifeliqe is usable in our classes. We are in Belgium, in the northern part of Belgium, and the past few months we were hit very hard by the COVID-19 virus. Even that hard that our social life was laying flat for more than about 6 months. So today it was the second day of school. I'm in my class at the moment, and it was the second day that we were able to receive all our children again back in our schools. The last few months of past school year, May and June, we were able to teach a small part of our children only in primary school, but the last day of school from our secondary schools was on March 13th. That's more or less 6 months ago that the students were not able to be in their school in a physical way. Stanislav, is it possible to show the next slide, please? Because in our school, we've got a very... Can you show the slide, Stanislav?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because our school is a little bit special school. That's me and my class, but my class is a little bit, that need a little bit of explanation. We are a very multicultural school. In our school, we've got more than 40 different nationalities. And in my class of 15 students at this moment, I've got 12 different nationalities. That means that we heavily rely on making everything very visual for a better understanding of the children. And that's why Lifeliqe comes in. Lifeliqe is not the only tool we are using in our school, in our class. Can you show the next one, please, Stanislav?
Yeah.
We have chosen in our school to make a combination of different digital and physical educational tools. You see some things that you're maybe are familiar with. You see a green screen to bring the fantasy world into our class. You see Lego bricks. You see digital screens, you see surface devices. We chose to use touch-based screen devices, but you also see that children are playing and moving around with special huge blocks that are called ImoLearn blocks. So we really are testing all new materials for use in the class for the best learning results. And that's why we also came at a certain moment to Lifeliqe. In a normal, typical working day, we are using Lifeliqe in the class. I'm teaching at the blackboard and my students are using the same models on their screen devices. But of course, because of all the problems from last period, it was not able to be physical together. And that's why we were so happy that we were using Lifeliqe, because it can be integrated in different learning environments like Google Classrooms or like Microsoft Teams, but also in lesson building platforms like, for instance, i3 Learn Hub. With combining all those tools, I was able to connect with my students the past few months and to teach them a little bit like Stanislav has done today with us, to teach them about different things and to share those models that they can have their own learning experience from the comfort of their own home. When you go to the next slide, Stanislav, you can see a little movie about how we are using Lifeliqe in class. You see that my students are using their own touch devices, and I'm using the same models on my blackboard, and that provides a really powerful environment for learning. They all experience the model by their own hands. They all have their own light bulb moments, and they get engaged in the things that we are doing, and they get engaged in the things I want them to learn. But really important to say is that in the presentation of Stanislav, he focused himself on science and STEM-related subjects. That is the main objective of Lifeliqe, of course. But in our school, we are using Lifeliqe even in more ways. From the KG, from the kindergarten, the 3-year-olds, they already start to explore with Lifeliqe all the way until P6. And also in our secondary schools, we are also using it. But you have to think outside the box using Lifeliqe. For instance, our kindergarten, they are using the animal models, like for instance, a lion or a hippo, just to show the children how it's moving. And then our smallest children, they mimic the movement of those animals when they are doing some drama play or we're doing some dance movement. So we are using it for arts and crafts too. And then we go to the higher years where we explore those more difficult models like the cycle of water. We can highlight certain parts and it really gets the children engaged. Can you go to the next one, Stanislav? Another really important and really fascinating thing for the students is the augmented reality function. We can see that in the next slide that's coming up. Here we were at the sea, and we had the challenge of combining the 3D models of Lifeliqe in a real environment. And yeah, you see a floating whale, that's of course fantasy, but the most important thing is that the children, they link the 3D models to the real world, and they are being creative with it. Like the picture on the left is a digital 3D crab combined in a real environment with the child. So they are making, they're using it to be creative. But at the same time, they learn about animals that are living there. And I think that's the most important thing of education, to constantly sparkle the imagination, but also the learning particles in their head, that they are constantly improving themselves, also without they even know it. And I think that's a fascinating thing of using this app in your class, but also outside of your class. But important are also the figures, and then we come to the final slide that I wanted to highlight. When you look at studies we have done in our class, and then the next slide, Stanislav, please.
I think it's the only one with the charts,
Yeah,
but
this is the one. This is the one I meant. So we've done a questionnaire at the students, with the students, but we also looked at the teaching results of my students. And the left one, the increased understanding, deals about how my students are feeling about using Lifeliqe. And you see that an enormous big part of my class said, look, with using Lifeliqe, with using those different animations, with the way of teaching like we are using it, the biggest part of my class said, look, it was much better than before, because I could see everything, I could experience everything, and because of that, I was able to understand the lesson material better than before. And when you go to the right, diagram, you can also see that this implies the test scores. When I look at the test scores of my class, they also improved a lot, because we were we were using Lifeliqe like we were doing it, to make the subject that the children have to teach, to make that as visual as possible. And I think that everybody saw, when using Lifeliqe, like Stanislav demonstrated us, it is for the teacher, a very friendly to use, easy tool to get that light bulb ignited and get children engaged in learning. And I think that's the thing we really want to have in our class. I all invite you to try Lifeliqe as much as you want. And when you have further questions about Lifeliqe or how to use Lifeliqe in class, feel always free to contact me. More than helpful to help you out. And I think you can get my contacts through Stanislav or to the Lifeliqe people. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to my story. And I can pass the mic again to Stanislav.
okay, Oli, thank you very much for sharing us your experience, and to everybody, to the rest of the teachers which are connected. I think it's really useful to see like how does it work in the practical way, because that's why we are always fascinated, even in our company, by the histories of the teachers which count us. How does it really work? How the children are excited? How do they improve? So I think this is like the motivation which also we have to continue in the job. So thank you again, Oli. As we have spoken about teachers which use Lifeliqe in their classroom or in their classes, because recently it wasn't possible in the most part of the world to go physically to schools. We are collecting right now the stories of different teachers. For example, as this lady from actually Czech Republic, which for example showed us how she worked during Corona times with her students in their classes with Lifeliqe. and they use it together with different Microsoft tools, as you can see right now with Teams, or more like later in the video, she will use also Microsoft Forums. I'm just sorry because I have too many applications, so it's kind of slow, the connection, but I hope it will work soon. So she was showing us basically how she can connect all the stuff she usually uses on her classes with Lifeliqe. For example, here you can see how she exported the Lifeliqe modules in Google Forms to make quizzes or exams for her students. So this is one possible way of how to do it. Well, if I'm going back to deck, I have here also different teachers. This is, for example, Julie Hembry, which works in Washington, in United States, and she was also using Lifeliqe in her classes, but she got in love with the augmented reality. So she was using with her students Lifeliqe modules through augmented reality, and they were used to make poetry with its help. So she's, a part of being teacher, she's also a librarian in her school. So she was using it to inspire the literacy and literal productivity with her students in her classes or after classes in her library. So this is another story which we have. Well, I will go again back to the deck. Yeah, this is Tammy Dunbar with also using augmented reality, or with more recent stories. This is a photo which sent us one teacher from Slovakia about his students, how they are working with Lifeliqe, trying to reconstruct in the real world the models they have seen in Lifeliqe app. So they've made it physically before Corona times in his classroom. So those were some of the stories which we have received. Obviously, if you will want to share your own story or experience with us or with the rest of Lifeliqe community, we will be really happy. So don't hesitate to send us your experience or get in contact. And right now I'm getting to the very last part before the wrap up and discussion. And it's, as I previously said, it's the resume of the recent investigation about impact of using 3D models in the classroom. I will do it really fast because we don't have a lot of time left. So a really fast sneak peek. The investigation or the research was made by Charles University in Prague, one of our partner universities. Basically, it was research which was focusing on how 3D models change the inner motivation of students in classrooms. How 3D, or like the use of 3D models impact on their internal motivation or on their will to learn, and later on their learning results. The research was made on 15 different schools in Czech Republic by 15 different teachers. So altogether, those were several hundreds of students. And to resume it really fast, the investigation showed that Lifeliqe or 3D models of Lifeliqe increase student understanding, and they help them to understand better, especially the difficult concepts which they have in their classes. And with this help, the students feel more motivated. They feel more curious about the thing they learn because they don't get so bored. So in the result, it increased their engagement, attention in the classroom, because many times, or like many schools, they consider boring what they learn, or they just don't pay attention always. So when they were able to interact on their own with the modules in the classroom, they were really excited about it, and they had really more curiosity about the thing they were learning. And finally, as a result of all of that, there was a considerable improvement in test scores. So they were getting better marks, and finally they are better prepared for the following studies at university or high school. So this was really a fast sneak peek. Well, for those who are more interested about this investigation, we will publish soon the final result of it. It's a kind of long paper, so you will be able to read it on our pages. And right now I am getting to the last part, and it's fast wrap up of what we heard today. So I will repeat again. We have for you our recent September updates, which are basically the integration with Office 365 programs like OneNote, PowerPoint, and Word. We have also a new page with classroom resources. We have special page. We have special license for virtual reality devices. We have new design of our app, and one of the most important things which you can see here regarding the prices, thanks to the beginning of the new year, we have a special discount. So right now, if you decide to buy Lifeliqe, you will get 30% off the price. So don't hesitate to contact us for more details about pricing. We are able always to adjust the pricing to your own needs, to your own school. So for me, thank you for your attention. Stay in touch because we are preparing more webinars, and maybe they will be more focused on different topics like more interaction with Office 365 programs or more interaction with Google programs and so on. So stay tuned. So thank you for your attention. And now finally comes time for your questions. So if you want to ask, I'm here for you. I can hear your questions if you unmute yourself, or I can also read those you will place in the conversation. So if there are any questions, please don't feel shy and ask. We are ready to answer. I'm like now reading the discussion. I'm just aware of.
Hi, Snatch. How are you?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I'm Waqas from Pakistan. I hope you will be fine. Thank you so much for such a superb session. Really find out something really very interesting from this session. And we would love to be a part of the future session as well. And just going to share the information which you shared with my teacher all across Pakistan. And that will be very useful. I have few questions in my mind. Number one, the first step is I had already discussion with your team, but now I just want to ask that as a student, for example, if a teacher is teaching a classroom and they have like 30 to 40 students, in order to use Lifeliqe, will every student need to come sign up to the Lifeliqe website, create their account, only then they will be able to use, or if a teacher can create a class like Microsoft Teams class and they add all the users, and if they just want that a student should get benefit from Lifeliqe app, so instead of going to your website, signing up, which is somehow a difficult task for teacher because she just have 30 minutes. So if she will give this task to every student to sign up, it may take the teacher's teaching time basically to sign it up. So what is the best practices which you can share with us, that how a teacher should conduct class if they want to at least introduce Lifeliqe with the students?
Yeah. Hi, Waqas. Thank you for the question. To say it briefly, I think I can just record some of the moments from this webinar because as a part of it, I was showing also some ways how to show Lifeliqe models with students, even without having the account. So to respond to you, students don't have to have it, basically, because we know the struggle. All the teachers say us, we have just 1 hour or 45 minutes. It's not enough to take care of every single student. So That's why we made the students share option, and thanks to it, teachers just can log in Lifeliqe on their own and share it via Teams or via QR codes or via links to their students. It's really fast because they just make one click on their device and they are on in Lifeliqe app, and they don't have to have their own account, so they don't have to deal with this struggle. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. And my second question was, as there are few schools currently working on their curriculum specifically, because they just want to update their curriculum as per the requirement of 21st century skills of students. So I think so. This is the best platform, like which could be integrated with the curriculum. So instead of focusing like on 1 to 2 days exercise, if that particular platform will be a part of the curriculum, student will go through it, like they will have different lessons, they will go through it throughout the throughout the session which they have in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is there any school which with whom you have worked specifically related to curriculum development and integrated this particular technology with their computer science curriculum or ICT or digital literacy curriculum?
Yeah, thank you. Basically, yeah, we did it a couple, I think 1 year ago, or maybe like that, or 2 years ago, maybe. And we've made all complete curricula for United States NGSS standards, like natural sciences standards. So it works in the way that they can have complete course of science on high school and in middle school in US, just with Lifeliqe. It works, but of course, in every single country, there are kind of different educational standards, and of course, we can do it with no problems. It's possible. We usually do it with cooperation with teachers in the respective country, but we have to know that there is demand enough big to satisfy it. Because, for example, it takes a lot of time to do it, but if it will be used just, I don't know, by one single teacher, it makes no sense. So this is the principal struggle. So obviously it works perfectly and it's possible. So as you can see right now in Lifeliqe. So
Yeah,
yeah, it works. Yeah.
so, and but I'm sorry I'm taking too much time, but because I'm very much
No.
enthusiastic and keen about it, and the session you presented, really helped me, and really, a lot of ideas came into mind that how I can, just scale these programs in Pakistan. So my last question is, the students are always enthusiastic about their certificates, or might be their achievement or badges. So is there any course which you designed which a student can even do at their homes on their mobile devices? They can simply go through the courses and they start learning about different models, and then if Lifelike could give them few certificate as a sense of achievement or as a recognition, so this could really help you out. You will be familiar about Microsoft Educator Community. So there are
Mhm.
few courses available about the product, and student and the teacher simply go there, sign it up. They go through that courses, learn the technologies. So this is the one way to train them. The second way is definitely you have the trainers available in every country, and they can go there. So that might be a little much difficulty. So if there is any way out of self-paced learning for students and for teachers specifically which you have, so please do suggest that way.
Okay. Okay. Well, regarding the student learning, that's why we published the lesson plans in Lifeliqe. So they are kind of, I think they're at about 1,000, as I said. So it can serve like self-study materials for students. However, well, the student learning is usually in charge of the teacher. So we don't have like any complete course a part of the curricula I've mentioned for students. But however, as you said, on Microsoft Pages, we have and actually we are right now preparing a new course for teacher education in Microsoft. So this will be one of the trainings for our users, which they can undertake and they can complete to get improved and transfer it to their students.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. I have also one question from one of our guests. I can read it. Can we use only the model on the platform, or can we create our personal 3D model? Yeah, of course, there is a possibility of making some personalized content if you wish. We also made the same thing several times. So if you are particularly interested in some models, of course, we can get in contact and we can prepare them for you if it's in our possibility, if in our possibilities. Yeah, so it is possible. So any other questions? Yeah, if the recording will be emailed, yeah, it will be emailed, and also it will be published on our YouTube channel. So if you search for Lifeliqe on YouTube, it will be published there in a couple of days. Can we download the 3D images and load them onto headsets? I'm not pretty sure what do you refer to, if it's to virtual reality headsets, I imagine. So, well, as far as I know, the virtual reality setting is that you go directly to Lifeliqe page in the headset, because if it's connected to Wi-Fi, so you can access the Lifeliqe site directly from the headset, and there you can browse our models. Yeah, so that's it. And it depends also on which virtual reality device you have. Recently, with the new update, we will be also to display our 3D models on the most simple VR devices like Google Cardboard. So it will also work like that. Yeah. Did I answer you? Okay, I hope so. Yeah, thank you. And also a question from Shruti Parasnis. Can we prepare models on our own and add them to the library? Well, if you are a good 3D designer, you can. You can just send them to us ready, and we can publish them. No, maybe it was a joke. Like that, we don't have any user section where you can create the 3D models. But to be honest, it's not so easy to make a high quality 3D model. It takes weeks and sometimes months to get them ready. So until now, not really. Yeah, for that I'm sorry. But as I said before, we are ready to receive your demands. If you, for example, feel that something is missing in Lifeliqe, that we should edit some models from some library, so we will be happy for our suggestions. Yeah. Another question from Amy Halsal. Thank you. Can the 3D models be used with merge cubes? Well, it wasn't asked, but I think Oli has mentioned that. Thanks to our cooperation with i3 Learn Hub, we also managed to work with Lifeliqe with merge cubes. So I think it's possible. To be honest, I didn't try it personally, but I've seen my colleagues do that. So I think it's pretty possible. Yeah, another question from Gohar. Since I have 1 year free Lifeliqe subscription being MIEE, I request some additional mathematics 3D models for every grade level. Yeah. Well, if you want to have some more math model, as I mentioned, we will be happy to receive your ideas or your demands about what do you think we could add, and we will be happy to add it as soon as possible. Yeah, for Sonia Saidi, is there an Android app? Well, Lifeliqe is online, so you don't need no installation. So basically, it doesn't matter if you are on Android device or in Apple device or on Windows device. It works on all the devices. Or if you have Chromebooks, it works on everyone because it's just a web page on browser. So you don't need an installation, and the operational system doesn't matter. It works perfectly on all of them. Okay, are there any more questions? Yeah, Shruti writes that you couldn't get your license key, or it doesn't work, or you didn't receive that. Okay. Okay, Shruti, I can search for your special case, and I can contact you later. Yeah, because I would have to see which license key did you get and what's wrong with it. So just contact me, please, to my email. I can type it here to the discussion, and write me, please, what's your license key, and we can have a look on that, because sometimes it happens because now we made a lot of license keys, so some of them need some adjustment, but it's not usually a big deal. So please contact me or any one of you, and we can resolve the issues. You didn't receive. Okay, so if you applied for that, you should have received that already. If not, I will look on it right now, and I am pretty sure you will receive it soon. Okay, so if there are not any more questions, so I will give you thanks for your attention, and I will be pretty happy to stay in contact with you. So, as I said, in case you have some questions, struggles, problems, or suggestions, or you just want to share your experience, please feel free to write us, to contact with us, or with my colleagues. We'll be happy to answer you and to stay in contact with you. So again, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you will have a good start of a new school year in the most part of the world, and that you will enjoy your classes with Lifeliqe. So stay tuned. Soon we will be back ready with other webinars. Also follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, or read our blog on our pages. We have also YouTube channels. So on all of those media, you can get news from our application. So thank you very much. Have a nice day, and be well. Goodbye.